Good day. Good day. Today we have reached a significant special landmark on the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. We started just shy of 2 years ago, and what a journey! We have never missed delivering these every Sunday, though there have been so many issues behind the scenes. Today, for example, at one stage I thought I'd have to change location because of a lengthy JPS power outage. And then we've had problems with the internet over and over and over. But never mind. We are being positive today. And let me tell you, I want to say my great thanks to all of those who provided technical services over these years, leading up to Joshua Black Media Services, who is our latest provider. Special thanks to all those, some of them providing technical media expertise, some of them just saying, get rid of this, for example, dump this physical newspaper, and so on. Those who have provided counsel and encouragement along the way. To Desmond Richards, especially, who has been unwavering in support from before the start and in and out of these podcasts. To regular presenters, Winnie Anderson-Brown, and Morris and Mary White, Patrick Maitland, and with us today, especially Crystal Cameron, all the way from very far away. We'll tell you about that. And to you who watch and listen and share, thanks to you. Just a reminder, yet again, please subscribe. Those joining us today, please feel free to send your comments. Now, our panelists today will just tell us each with a sentence what their topic will be. So let's start with you, Mary.
Today, I am continuing with the path I started last week, and I will pose this question to take up later to the Jamaican audience. If a child never meets his father, is it possible for that child to manifest physical and behavioral traits of said unknown father? Think on those things while we come back to explore the issue of fear of marriage in the Jamaican society.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now we will go to Winnie. Winnie Anderson-Brown. Winnie? All right, so Winnie is not hearing us for the moment. Let's go to Desmond Richards.
Well, I am going to spend some time, my time, looking at the Jamaican media. That is what I intend to look at, the role of the media and how the media is operating now.
Beautiful. All right. And our special guest today, Chrissy, you are all the way in Hungary. So even before we ask you to tell us what you're going to talk about, we're going to start by asking you, what is it like to be away from Jamaica, and what is Hungary like?
Quite lovely. It started snowing this morning. Big, thick flecks of snow, if I can call them that. It was absolutely gorgeous. I imagine just as gorgeous as it seems to a Hungarian when they come to our island and they see the beautiful color of the sea, and they see the sand and the sun rising and setting and the beautiful colors that it leaves in the sky. So, to my foreigner's eyes, it was really gorgeous seeing the snow. It's extremely safe. And so that's good. The security is important to me. Yeah, so I don't worry about crime or whatever the case is. It gets dark pretty early in the day. It's dark by about 4 o'clock. And I've been out at times as late as even 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't have any problems walking home by myself. Being out late, I haven't had any harassment or felt unsafe at any point. And I have a friend from Pakistan who tells me she feels the exact same way.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, I won't even bother to take any topic that you want because anything you want to discuss, we're going to get there. My issue today, I'll be following up that matter. It touches on so much of what you have all said, that matter of the ministry or the idea of peace and human relations ministry that the Prime Minister has been speaking about, but we'll come back to that. So and Winnie, are you there now? Are you ready with us now, Winnie? All right, we're not getting Winnie right now. We're going to try to link her in. Okay, so Mary, we want to start with you. Please go ahead.
Mr. Mack, you are an instigator. Last week you asked me, what do I think caused Jamaican men to be so fearful? Before I say, Mr. Mack, Mr. Black, big up for the graphics of that lady chasing the man in the wedding. Wedding dress chasing the husband. It's gorgeous.
Yes.
So Christy and I are going to take on these issues today. So we went and we did some search. Is it just the obvious of our history of slavery that caused our Jamaican men to be afraid of committing to marriage? Christy is usually the status, the data, like when you watch Star Trek, you say data, she's always my data, who has information just walking at her fingertip. So I have 6 things, Chris, that I've narrowed it down to. Possible factors of men being afraid, or Jamaican men being afraid of marriage. One,
and you are establishing as a fact that Jamaican men are afraid of marriage.
Yes, Mr. Mack.
Right,
establishing it. I'm using my demographic as the guinea pig group. West African patriarchal paternity of polygamy. And Christy will just list the points and Christy can jump on them. 2, rebellion against Jamaica's law of monogamy. 3, music influences, example, Elephant Man and Beanie Man, out of many baby mothers and bastards. 4, slap child support laws versus in the USA, which holds men responsible for spreading their wild oats and seedlings. 5, global influence of Black independent woman has emerged, chasing off the good and gentlemen. 6, slavery trained our men to be jocks to breed a plantation of baby slaves. So, Chris, give me your data on these thoughts that I had, these 6 factors. Go ahead, take it away, Chris.
Chris,
I unfortunately wasn't able to commit all of them to memory. So
give an overview.
Scintillating a list it was, but yeah, but in terms of a fear of committed relationship or marriage or whatever the case is, I don't know if I could say that what I've observed in Jamaica is a fair situation with men. I think
what sort of situation with men?
A fear. I don't know if
fear of marriage.
Yeah, I would characterize as a fear of marriage. What I've observed, I would more clearly characterize as, or I think it's more accurate to characterize that there are a lot of men who just don't see where marriage is in their best interest, and a lot of men as well who are unwilling to commit to a woman's expectation of marriage, which has to do with monogamy, and them feeling disinclined towards monogamy because they consider it to be unnatural for them as a man to be monogamous. And so why become involved in a situation that you're not going to live up to, or be happy living up to, or be fulfilled living up to, and hence, creating conflict? It's better to just avoid it. So that's what I would use to characterize what I've observed.
Not so much fear of marriage.
Yeah, not so much fear.
Leave it alone. Leave it outside there.
Yeah, because the expectation of monogamy is not something that they consider to be a natural or reasonable expectation. Okay. And in my understanding, my readings about people and civilizations is that a people will make a place, and people can go through slavery, they can go through near genocides, they can go through relocation, whatever the case is. But ultimately, there are genetic factors to things that people prefer and things they don't prefer and behavior that they're inclined towards. And Brother Desmond can give me his feedback on this. We in Jamaica, we have marrying two women is against the law. It's bigamy. However, we are West African descended peoples, and West Africa, even today, of all the other areas of Africa, has the highest rates of polygamy. And polygamy is still very much highly prized in that culture. And this is in the modern day. So it was prized even more so in the past. And I think that what's going on with a lot of Jamaican men and their disinclination towards monogamy is that it is what we would call a European paradigm then. The vision of the family as one man, one woman, and their children, and some amount of exclusiveness in the sexual relationship. That
cutting right there, Chrissy, and ask Desmond. You call on Desmond to make a response. Desmond, you want to make a very quick response, and then.
Can I? But I haven't finished.
I lost. I lost some of. I lost.
Go ahead.
I lost you in the last couple of sentences, but I want to point out some things. One, marriage is not a genetic thing, you know. Marriage is a whole institution, and one of the things we must remember is people are socialized. Now, 400 years on the plantation, Black men in the Caribbean were not introduced to marriages. They saw a system where, first of all, the slave masters had forcefully taken away their women, and more than one woman have sex with them, use them for their pleasures.
Rape them.
No. So what I see is that the behavior that you are talking about with Jamaican men, it is because of a socialization process. That we must remember this, that marriage is, we were not socialized for 400 years for marriages.
All right.
And hold on, I want to make another point.
Finish it, and then a quick response from you, Chris, and we'll move on.
No, I want to make in addition to that, I want to make another point, that there are men in Jamaica, there are men in the Caribbean who are committed to marriages, right? There are lots of men in Jamaica and the Caribbean who are committed to this institution. But what we need to do is to socialize our men, especially the younger men. The younger men, they need to be socialized so that they understand the institution of marriage and why it is important for them to settle down and build a family.
Okay. Chrissy, you want to make a quick 10-second response?
Yeah, so just so I get it right, are you agreeing then that Jamaican men, a lot of them are disinclined towards monogamous relationships because they consider monogamy to be unnatural and unrealistic, and that they value having children, passing on their genetics and so on and so forth. But what they do not value is what they would call a European paradigm of monogamous marriage. Do you agree with that you have observed this?
Too many men. What I am saying, that too many men in the Caribbean and in Jamaica are not committed to building a solid family relationship, building a family relationship. And that is not good for the building of society.
Moving on.
Because children need their parents. They don't need one parent. They need their parents.
I'll
Okay.
give my
Yes.
summation in the end,
Yes.
Mr. Mac. I like where the conversation is going.
Yeah.
Keep in mind my opening remark. If a child never meets his father, can that child show traits, manifest traits? Give summation in the end. Carry on.
And I'm just pointing out that you're confirming, Brother Desmond, that you consider the European paradigm of monogamous union to be superior to the West African paradigm of polygynous union. So I just wanted to get those things straight, because there are different types of marriages. A type of marriage that is prized in West Africa, where our genetics are from, and had been prized before they were ever introduced to a European, was polygynous marriage, which is one man, several wives. I would say we live in Jamaica, it's a functionally polygynous.
One man, several baby mothers, we have converted that to become the law.
All right.
Prevents
We're
them
gonna
from
move
marrying
on. We're
several
gonna
women.
move on because that's an issue that could take up a whole, my goodness, more than 2 shows. So is Winnie back? Is Winnie back?
Winnie's here. Can you hear me?
Sorry, Winnie. Go ahead, please. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
One of the things is
I
that
must-
the volume has
I
gone
must
down
just say-
considerably.
The volume?
Yes.
Okay.
You're
I
not
thought
hearing
the
me.
volume was good. All right, Winnie,
Don't hear me.
go ahead, Winnie, and please speak up.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you
go
hear
as
me?
high as possible. Yes. Go ahead, Winnie.
Okay. All right. First of all, I don't want to touch that, but I want us to remember that we have more churches than square miles, and the church stands for
I
something
didn't hear that.
different.
Say that again,
So
Winnie. I'm sure we all heard that.
I am saying that we must remember that we have more churches than many places. And when we talk about marriage, we must remember the church setting. Not everybody is outside of that. So that's a different dimension to this whole conversation. So I won't even go there.
But there
Just to make sure that I update.
They're different.
I am not, that's why I say I don't want to do that. I want to move on to what I have to talk about.
Yes,
As
or you're going to
Franklin
lose the
said,
time.
that
You're
can
going to
happen.
lose it down to 1 minute.
Several
Right.
shows. Now, I want to say last week I spoke about digital oppression, forcing people to do things that they cannot afford to do. And I must say that Digicel has done something that I think is very good. They are upgrading the phones, and although this is not a smartphone, they have given me another phone to replace the one that I showed last week, and a present on top of it.
My goodness, real fun.
So yes,
So the technology hasn't moved us beyond the fans yet, right?
well, at least the good thing about this one is that at least I can get cool anywhere I am, whether or not there's electricity. So that's good. So I say thanks for that. And just to say, I believe that they're doing what they should do. You change and you don't force people, you help people to be a part of the change.
You were telling me about
that,
2G, that they are moving out of 2G, is that correct?
Yes, they are phasing out their 2G service. So it means that, remember, it's 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. So okay. Not everybody gets the same everywhere. So they want to make sure that those who are on the 2G network, they can continue communicating with friends and loved ones. Well, that is not what I really want to talk about. I really just want to share that as an update to what I said last week. But I just want to make sure that we keep this thing balanced. I hear a lot of talk about men, but many women are not comfortable with marriage. There are many women who do not want to get married. And these men that are having many other women, many women prefer men that are married because they don't want the responsibility. So that has to go in the mix. The gender, I don't like what we do with gender in Jamaica. This is a people thing, not just a man thing. And remember that women can propose to men as well. How many women are comfortable with that?
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
I don't think Mary would buy that. Mary, you would buy it.
I
Women
know.
proposing.
I know. I
Mary, would
know.
you buy that? Women proposing?
No, Mr. Mac. A woman who proposes to a man changes the balance of power forever in that relationship. Changes and
Oh, a
gives up
woman
her
who
right to
proposes
Yes,
to
stand
I
a
up
am
for
not
man
herself
changes
saying
the balance of power
forever in that
forever.
relationship. Women, keep your power.
I'm not saying whether or
Stand on our
not
table.
I like it or I don't like it. It's a
Where
fact.
did
It
the
happens.
immutable law?
That's it.
Where did the immutable law come from that men are to be the ones proposing? Where
The
did that
Lord
come
God
from?
himself. Take a woman, call her your wife, and leave your mother and parents and go on, but go
there
on to
we
yourself.
go.
Okay. All right. Desmond, let's go to your take because we're gone
There we go.
20 minutes into the program and we haven't come to you yet. And I haven't had my chance on the platform. So you go ahead,
Franklin,
Desmond.
Franklin, you know, I am hardly hearing what is being said. The volume has gone down considerably. I don't know why.
It's your volume better, Desmond.
Maybe it's the volume at your end. So speak up. Mary, you have some
I
comments
don't know.
from our viewers.
Yes, I'm answering Ms. Roger. I have Roger online, and so I'm answering her until Brother Desmond is finished.
Go ahead, Desmond. Go ahead, Desmond. We're hearing you well. We're hearing you.
Well, as I said that in the media, the media is supposed to be the oxygen, one of the main features of our democracy. But I see today, I can say that I have seen the Jamaican media is letting down the Jamaican people. It is not focusing on some fundamental issues. Now, for example, who remember that major cocaine fine at the airport in St. Mary? What has happened to it? Who remember the hundreds of millions of dollars that was seized at the airport? What has happened to that? What has happened to the Prime Minister's declaration? What has happened to, for example, we are reporting on the murders, but we are not, the media is not focusing on the crime as one of the major problems. Now, what I see mostly that the media is now the main area for reeling off statements by the Prime Minister, heads of the PSOJ and other officials. But the things that are affecting the Jamaican people, the media is not focusing on those issues. None at all. For example, the water problem. They are in every parish in Jamaica.
Hold on. What you're saying is that the media now they're providing more releases, more statements from ministers, from officials, and not dealing with the issues of the ordinary people. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. They are not doing that.
And is that new?
No, it is not new. I am not saying it is new. I am saying that the Jamaican media need to do that because remember, the media is the media is a voice of the people, you know. The media is supposed to represent the people, the voice of the people. That is what the media is supposed to be doing. But instead they have become chief spokesmen and spokeswomen for the ruling classes and the political class.
Okay. Desmond, thank you. Now the time is running so fast, I'm going to have to cut my comments, frankly speaking, quite a bit. When we think we have been to the bottom of the crime in Jamaica, we realize that there's deeper and murkier to go. One of the worst displays of barbarity I've seen or heard of is just over last few days regarding two siblings who disappeared a few days ago in St. Elizabeth, and then a video emerging showing their bodies laid out in a shallow grave and being covered by someone off camera in a video. Now, I won't dwell on it, but use it to remind us that the crime monster is real The barbarity is awful, and the society, the very society, is breeding them every day. The society is too unlawful, too disordered, too unequal, too lacking foundations in the family. We were talking about marriage, which is not only the only anchor for families. It's not caring, and people do anything they like, and the society is breeding criminals. The Prime Minister, responsible above all for the security of the nation, has said, frankly speaking, he's minded to go for a ministry of peace and human development. Frankly speaking, I support the concept that very many agencies, government and non-government, that we have touching and concerning families and conduct ought to be pulled together in one mission. No, not one ministry. For me, one mission of cleaning up the country and leading to a breakout of peace and law and order. Frankly speaking, it should not be done under a ministry. It requires a tight-knit organization, not full of a lot of jobs for the boys and girls, but with serious managers and foot soldiers who have no political taint, who are not doing it for the party or the government, but for us Jamaicans. Frankly speaking, we need it. We need a set of people and programs and communication points that will saturate this country with civility, of which we have very little, with hope, with order, with beauty, even something as simple as disposing of our garbage. And we need peace. A set of people properly elected to be able to go do that. That's my passion and my sermon for today, to help self-respect, to help the Jamaican young men who don't know who is Marcus Garvey, the Jamaican young men boozed out, to help us find our way. And that's where I finish the sermon. Look here, we're not going to be able to do much.
Mr. Mark, is it time for the comments?
Yes, please go ahead, Mary.
Yes, we want to welcome our commenters and viewers. Roger, who responded about marriage and that she doesn't agree that it's just Jamaican men, but she does agree that there is a problem, and she has a whole long list of tips that she has put in the chat. So please, share them with friends and family. We want to thank also Owen Richards. He agrees with Brother Desmond. Thank you, Owen. We want to thank Tracian, who says Brother Desmond traces Tracy and says it's the corruption. And I agree with her that corruption and politics do make good bedfellows. So thanks to all. Those are all our commenters for this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I can't even take the other part of our program, which we were asking for us all to be able to talk about the things we like. I'm sorry we were not able to take it. It's my pleasure to thank you for being with us today. Thank you all. Now remember, the full podcast will be on the Frankly Speaking YouTube channel in a short while. This is the final of this podcast in this format for this year. Next week, we'll have on the channel pieces of a reunion of a class of 73 Michael College. It won't be parochial, I promise. I just want to thank all of those who have supported this podcast in any way over the last almost 2 years. It's nearly 2 years of this podcast. Desmond Richards, Winnie Anderson Brown, Mary White, Joshua Black, Chrissy Cameron, Patrick Maitland, and the guys who provided the technical services for us. Israel Lawrence. Oh, there's so many. We want to thank you all so very much for being with us. Thank you again. This has been the 100th edition of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Until then, I'm Franklin McKnight.